who's done me 1,000 wrongs ever since Donkey Kong. Slithering down every pipe, despite his plum-shaped body type.
Does Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battles suck? Let's find out.
Oh.
Back when this game was first announced, I think a lot of people kind of dismissed the idea of a Mario and Rabbids crossover as something that really didn't need to exist. And I was among one of them. I'm really not a fan of the Rabbids. I don't think they're particularly funny or interesting characters. So I wasn't really looking forward to this game at all. I thought maybe it was going to be maybe like a party game, maybe like Mario Party but with Rabbids in there. So yeah, wasn't looking forward to it. But I think all of that changed for everybody when they unveiled the gameplay at this last E3. And you got this turn-based strategy Mario game with Rabbids involved. And all of a sudden, everybody was on board, including myself. So now that I've had some proper time with it, I really want to talk about the game and see if it actually lived up to those expectations. The story here follows a group of Rabbids who transport themselves into the room of a young inventor girl who's invented a device that is able to fuse two items into one. After stealing the device, they then transport themselves over into the Mario universe, where they then start fusing with random items in the Mushroom Kingdom. But this ends up turning them evil. A few of them do become iconic Mario characters who must then team up with the real characters in order to put a stop to all of the Rabbid shenanigans. Let's talk about that combat. Now, the combat here is very similar to the XCOM style combat. And if you've never played XCOM before, I mean, just take a look at this gameplay footage and you pretty much will understand what I mean. While it seems simple at first, there is a lot that you can do in the combat here. You can move a certain amount of spaces on the field. You can fire off a shot. You can do a special move each once per turn, and you can do it in whatever order you feel is the most strategic. There's other stuff as well, like being able to jump off of your allies in order to go even further out into the field. Each character has their own special that you can unlock. Some people can do healing, some people have hammers in order to do more attacks up close. And each character even has their own specific weapons. Some are better at close range, some are better at distances. And again, the more you go progress into the game, the more you unlock, the more weapons you can unlock as well and buy. And these weapons have special attributes, like some of them actually can ink an opponent so they can't do an attack next turn. Or maybe there's like a honey attack that lets them that gets them stuck in the same spot so they can't actually move next turn. And taking all of this into effect makes the game incredibly choice driven in how you want to approach each combat scenario. And you gotta think of this as a strategic game, which it is, because after you make your move, then the enemy is doing pretty much the exact same thing. They're working with each other to take you down. Now, if you're worried about this being too simple of a game because it is Mario, while I've never really had too much of a hard time with the game, the later stages did start to provide more of a challenge. But the real challenging part comes with replaying certain levels after you've completed them. There are special challenges that you can do that really test your strategic level. And even after that, there is a co-op mode that you can play with a friend that pushes that even further, because not only are those challenges extremely difficult, but you have to team up with a friend and collaborate on the moves that each of you are gonna do in order to complete these challenges. So if you think that this is just gonna be a simple experience because it's Mario, it's not. There is a lot here that you can really push your brain to the limit with. This world is also fantastic to look at. It's very colorful. I always looked forward to seeing what the next world held, what was around the next corner. I loved seeing pretty much all of the iconic Mario stuff just done through Ubisoft's point of view, and it's all fantastic to just explore. Now, it is very linear, so there is not a lot of that exploration. There are side paths that you can actually take that unlock collectibles, kind of like screenshots, sound testing, 3D models, and sometimes you can actually unlock hidden weapons as well by taking these side paths. But they're just kind of small little detours. They don't actually give you a lot to explore. But even though it's very linear, it's still beautiful to behold, and I really like just checking out the surroundings and seeing what they were going to present in the world next. And the Rabbids are there pretty much every step of the way. Not just the ones in your main party, but just random Rabbids are interacting with the environments. And I gotta admit, they were actually kind of charming at points. Now, not funny, charming. There is a difference. As you can probably guess, I didn't think the game was very funny. I said they're charming. I liked seeing the movement of the Rabbids in the environment, and the Mario Rabbid characters are a lot of fun to just watch and see their movements. But the comedy here is bad. And I don't want to... It's very French comedy, and I don't mean that negatively, because there are some funny jokes here. It's just a lot of it is a miss. A lot of it is very toilet humor. It's... that. Listen, I get it. It's a kid's game. Kids are gonna laugh at this sort of stuff, but I mean, Mario's never really had to resort to like booby jokes and toilet humor. You can definitely make this game entertaining for adults and kids without having to resort to any of that stuff. So it's a shame that they did have to go that route, but it's just one tiny complaint there. The other thing I did want to mention is I ran into a lot of technical problems with the game, and especially towards the later half. My games crashed multiple times. In the middle of a battle, it would just boot me out and I would have to restart the battle, which would get frustrating. Now, it didn't happen all the time, but it did happen a good handful of times. Second thing that started happening again towards the later half is when the enemy's turn would go, the camera would sometimes sink into the ground and it'd freak out, and all of a sudden I missed the enemy's turn. So I then had to like pretty much check the field and see where everybody made their move, what happened. But it's a problem that I ran into, and so I'm telling you guys about it. Just be careful with that. So does Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle suck? No, I actually had a lot of fun with the game. I'm very glad I picked it up. I don't believe it sucks. It's a lot of fun. Although ultimately, ladies and gentlemen, that is up for you to decide. Now, if you have played the game, let me know what you thought in the comments down below. And until next time, have a good one.
Ah!